I'm Matt Young, a high school art teacher here in Columbus, Ohio. In our Art Room Hacks mini-series, 3 fellow art teachers are bringing you innovative hacks to make your classroom run smoother and make your life easier. In our last episode, we talked about exhibiting and displaying your artwork, one of my favorites. Feel free to check out that in the playlist linked above. So in today's episode, we're going to give you 6 classroom management hacks. For more tips and tricks for art teachers, by art teachers, make sure you like and subscribe to The Art of Ed for more videos just like these. Now let's get started. Today's classroom management tip, I would like to talk to you about a game called Zoink. Now, I'm not going to lie, I borrowed this game from some teachers a while ago, some core teachers that were using it to constantly review stuff in class. Why this game is great for classroom management. It is a break in the day where you can get the students to show you what they know. So you want to divide your class into at least 3 teams, maybe 4 teams. You're going to have, obviously, your questions. And here is the simple rules of Zoink. You're going to take some note cards, and the note cards are going to have either Zoink on them or points. And they also have a magnet. All the cards have different point totals on them. And you'll scramble up them, and I have a whole pack of other cards over here to choose from as students pull them. So what happens is you will call on a team and you ask them a question in class, like, what is the focal point of this particular artwork? The students have a second to get their answers together. If they get the answer right, they send up a team representative. Make sure they choose a different team representative each time. That representative is going to come up and pull the points off. You keep track of the points over here. Now, what happens is they can either stop and bank their points and they'll remain safe, or if they happen to get a Zoink, they lose all their points. And that's what becomes fun about it, is students will sit there and say, like, pick another card, and then they get a Zoink, boom, and all the points are lost. Or students are real conservatives because they get close to winning, and then they say, no, stop, but then the kid up here pulls one, they're like, no! It's a great fun way to kind of have a break in the day. The class gets used to it. They ask me when we're going to play Zoink next. And the simple reward at the end of it is, 1, they get to review all of the stuff. 2, you get to see where the kids are at and how much they know. 3, they interact with each other. And 4, I give them participation points, obviously, for participating, and the winning team gets extra credit. Winner all around. So I hope Zoink can become part of your classroom management techniques. Today's classroom management hack is to spend your first week wisely. Now, while it is fun to have icebreakers in the classroom, we need to step the icebreakers to a whole new level by making them art competitions. Not only do they allow you to teach some art techniques right off the bat, but they also show you the prior knowledge of the student. They can also show other interesting things like who are going to be the leaders in your classroom, who are going to be the followers, and those who plain just aren't going to work whatsoever. Who will work together and who you will need to separate in the class, as well as some really other interesting things. I have been using these games for years, and it allows the class seating chart to kind of work itself out for me within the first week. And these can be done with minimal materials. For example, in my 3D class, I break them into teams of 4 to find out who can build the tallest, strongest, and most visually interesting marshmallow sculpture. We spend a couple days going over design elements and principles and showing them some examples of the sculpture. And then I have the students go on and to start to build some of these sculptures. And this takes a couple days. I try to kind of let them figure everything out on its own. Then finally, we spend the last couple days trying to talk about what went right, what went wrong, and of course, who won. Starting off the school years with these competitions has helped me in so many ways for setting the tone, classroom management, and pre-assessing students' prior knowledge. I have saved so much time with trying to figure out students' personalities by using these. I cannot tell you until you try them what you will observe other than art with your students.
I'm Andrea Wlodarczyk, a middle school art teacher in San Diego, California. And for today's classroom management hack, I'm going to introduce you to our glitter timer. So our glitter timer is a bottle of water with glitter added to it. I'm using about 1,000 milliliter bottle, but different sizes work, and there's lots of recipes online for the glitter. I think that trial and error is probably best here because I've seen lots of different combinations. And then what you can really do to figure out how long your timer lasts for is to shake it up and then just time the glitter falling. These bottles actually are about 2.5 minutes. So we shake them up, flip them over once, and then when the glitter has fallen, we reset them a second time to give us 5 minutes. I've got different weights of glitter in here. So the heaviest glitter will fall pretty quickly, and then the lighter glitter will just keep on sparkling and swirling for about 2 minutes. It's also a visual cue that they can use to help stay on track as far as their time for sketching. And they're really pretty to look at also. They've been a hit with all my classes. For today's classroom management hack, I'm going to share the call and response game that my students came up with. It felt like our attention getters were getting a little bit stale. So after talking with my students, they decided that they would come up with songs or phrases that I could initiate and say the beginning of, and they would respond with the second half. And it's super sweet, and it ended up being pretty funny. So for each of my different classes, I wrote down, printed out each of their call and responses, and I have this on my whiteboard so that I can keep track of it and remember. And they're really sweet. So an example is that I might initiate by saying, "Never gonna give you up," and they respond with, "Never gonna let you down." Okay. Never gonna give you up.
Never gonna let you down.
Nice job, everybody. Thank you so much. It is time for us to clean up. Can one person please collect all of the art at your table?
And I am not a singer, but it is a silly, light moment that is so joyous, and they're not bothered to give me their attention. You know, they're very willing. Coming up with these was really silly and fun as a group activity. And what's also great about this hack is that it can always stay fresh. We can always change the phrase or the song.
Hey art teachers, I'm Laura Gardner, elementary art teacher in Indiana, and today's hack about classroom management is having a visual checklist for your students. Now you might already have something like I can statements in your classroom, but you could also add another visual reminder for students about what they need to do during the process of their project or activity. So here I have to do, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 listed here. And on each one of these is one step of a project that they need to do. Things like, first you sketch your idea, then you draw it in pencil, then you trace it in Sharpie, then you color it with markers. But they're all individual, so it'll be really easy to switch them out depending on what you're teaching with different classes. I'm gonna take this off and I can switch it with paint with watercolors. And mine are magnet. I laminated them and put them with magnets on the back. You could easily do this with like Velcro, but this is just a really easy way to switch it out quickly in between classes, and it helps keep kids on track. They can look up here whenever they need to, see the image of the pencil, and then read draw in pencil, and that's the second thing they have to do. Maybe I have paint with watercolors, or color with markers. Sometimes I give students choices of materials, and then I can add both of them on there really easily by putting both of those papers up there. So it keeps kids on track, it keeps me on track, and it can be a really helpful tool within your classroom management to keep things organized and flowing well. Today's hack about classroom management is doing a mindfulness minute at the beginning of your class and using a chime and a breathing exercise to go along with a mantra that maybe some of you already do. When classes come in and they're all riled up, there's a lot going on in the hallway, they just are transitioning from their classroom to your classroom, it can be a lot. Sometimes we lose instructional time because we're spending too much time trying to focus them. To start the art class with a mindfulness minute immediately and do it every single time can be a good way to instill this routine in them. And they learn that they can use the moment, the just one quick little minute to focus their minds on what they need to be thinking about, what they need to be doing during art class today, good choices. If they've had a bad day already, they can use this to clear their mind. It can be like a reset button, and they can start fresh and start new. And I think that's really important for our students to know, that they can come into our art room and just start fresh. This is a safe place for them to be, and we can start over and have a good time. So I have this chime that I use, and I just ring it once. And while it rings out, we do a breathing exercise. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So this paper is in their desk, and it has two sides, two different ways that you can trace your finger on it while they breathe in and out. And then after that, we say our art room mantra, which is, I am calm, I can create, I make messes, I make mistakes. That's okay, because I know when it gets hardest, I'm still an artist. Say, I am calm.
I am calm.
I can create.
I can create.
I make messes.
I make messes.
I make mistakes.
I make mistakes.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Because I know
Because I know
when it gets hardest,
when it gets hardest,
I'm still an artist.
I'm still an artist.
And then when we're done with that, they put their papers away. They are focused and ready to go. I start with the instruction right away. They're ready to start a good day in art. So by leading into your lesson right away after a mindfulness minute can be really helpful to keep the attention of your class.
Hey, our teachers, that wraps up our 6 classroom management hacks. If you have additional hacks, we would love to continue the conversation in the comments below. Feel free to go back and rewatch all the time-saving hacks from my fellow art teachers that will save you time in the art room. And if you want more tips and tricks for our teachers, by our teachers, make sure you like and subscribe to The Art of Ed for more videos just like these. We will see you in the comments below, and talk to you soon.